Welcome back to my channel. On this channel, we talk about all things mindset, awareness, emotional awareness, self-awareness, growth, just anything that you need up here to be able to create your life out there. We are going to talk about one of the most simplest things that I feel everybody needs to understand, which is how your thoughts are creating your reality. What are your thoughts? So your thoughts, it's the inside voice in your head. It's the conversations that you have with yourself. Sometimes it's intentional, sometimes they're unintentional. Like sometimes your thoughts are just a response to your environment or a response to the things that are going on around you. So that is what your thoughts are. It's that voice in your head, it's those things that go on in your mind. And your thoughts that you think repeatedly, consistently, all the time, those thoughts become your beliefs. So if you always think about, just for example, I never have enough of this, I never have enough of that, then your belief becomes, I just never have enough. And when you believe something like that, it shows up in your life through your actions, whether you're conscious of it or unconscious of it. You will take steps and take actions that are always going to keep you within that belief of, I never have enough. So another example is, let's say that you believe that the way to a successful life is by going to college. Like that is the only route that anyone should take. If you have that belief, then most likely you would have gone to college, or you will go to college if you're not already there. So the thought is, college is the best way to success, and then the action you'll take because of that thought, and because that thought became a belief, the action you take is you're going to go to college. And that's just how everything else in your life follows. You are always going to create a life that is most closely aligned with the things that you believe. Okay, like for me, I went to college because I thought that was the most logical decision after high school. And then after college, of course, I expected to get a 9 to 5 job because that was what I believed was supposed to happen. That's the only thing I've been told. It's the only thing I've seen. So, of course, I'm going to live my life following those beliefs. So, this is how your thoughts are creating your reality, because whatever you think about life, whatever you think about yourself, you are going to stay on that. You are going to walk that line for the rest of your life until you start changing your thoughts. So when you want better things, for example, if you are struggling right now, maybe you're just struggling with discipline, I can tell you right now that your thoughts are probably always on the things that you haven't done, or you're always thinking about how hard it's going to be. You're always thinking about everything that you have to do next. And all of that can have you struggling to be disciplined because your thoughts aren't focused on the right thing. So what you have to do, what you have to consistently do and remind yourself is that I can do hard things. Like I am able to make the time. I am able to find the space. I am able to find the people, find the, like you just have to tell yourself that. You just have to consistently feed yourself new thoughts that are going to lead to these new beliefs, which are going to lead to the new actions that you want. So if you know that you are always going to create a life that is mostly aligned with the things you believe, then guess what? You have to work on believing things that serve you. You have to work on cultivating core beliefs that no matter what is happening in your life, like no matter what is going on around you, these are things that you can go back to. Like for me, my core beliefs are, things are always working out for me. Nothing has gone wrong here. Even when I cannot see it physically, it's happening for me. Like these are beliefs that I can always call on, I can always go back to when I'm feeling confused, when I'm feeling lost, because it happens. Like we are human, and the way our brains are set up is that our brain is going to protect us the best way it knows how. And the best way it knows how is to stay in what is familiar, is to do what is familiar. So most of the time, it's not even that you're stuck. It's just that you are so accustomed to being this one person. Like you've been this person for years now. You've been thinking the same thoughts. You've been taking the same actions. If you have been working the same job, you've been taking the same route every day. Like when you are not intentional about seeing the repetition in your life and wanting to make a change, things will continue to just repeat itself because your brain is okay with that. Your brain is so okay with everything that is familiar and everything that is comfortable. And that's why when it's time for you to change, you're gonna come up against thoughts that are asking you like, well, why do you want to change now? Like my life is okay. Or you'll come up against thoughts that why, like, this is obviously not the right time. Like, you obviously don't have the resources, you don't have the people. Like, you'll come up with so many thoughts, and they are going to be easy to believe because your brain just wants to go back to that familiar place. And guess what the easiest route is? Back to that familiar place. It's the excuses that you make. So that's why in the beginning it's going to be so easy for you to believe the excuses that you give yourself. And that's sometimes why you have to have a good friend, a coach, somebody who can look at what it is that you are perceiving as a limitation or an obstacle. Like, you need to have somebody who can tell you, like, no, you can actually see this a certain way or a different way. You can go about this in a whole different way. Because if you let it, your excuses will keep you stuck, your circumstances will keep you stuck, your comfort zone will keep you stuck for sure. Like, you have to be intentional about getting out of it. And the best way to do that is by having those core beliefs. So even if you cannot believe that everything happens for a reason, can you at least believe that everything that does happen to you, in hindsight, you look back and you see that there was a reason for that? Like, can you believe that? Or can you at least believe that life isn't just happening to you? Like, there is no evil force outside of you trying to destroy your life or deter you from the things that you want. There's nothing outside of you that can control that. Like, can you believe that? You don't even have to, like, your beliefs doesn't have to be like out of this world. It doesn't have to be like, don't try to fake it, don't try to choose beliefs that sound good, don't try to borrow my beliefs if you don't believe them. What you can do is try to find the next best belief that you can believe easily. Like, if you have been in a state of lack and survival mode for years, it might be hard for you to have the belief that I am abundant naturally. Like, the money will come, the time will come, the resources will come. Like, it might be very hard to believe those things if for years you've had thoughts of lack and limitation and poverty. So you need to grab onto the next best thing, which is maybe that'll be, I can make it out of this. Like, can you at least believe that you can make it out of this, whatever it is? And once you get a hold of that belief, and once you think it over and over and over, like this, like I said, it's not a one and done thing. You have to remind yourself every day. It's a commitment. And that's honestly what life is about. Life isn't about the destination, it's about the experiences that you have on the way there. It's about the things that you go through that make you into that person who creates the grand life that you want. And another thing is just like, you'll never get there. Like, there's never going to be a place that you get to in your life where you're not going to want more. So that's why people always preach the importance of being okay with where you are now, because there's nowhere else you can be. So you have to make now, the right now, the present, whatever it looks like, you have to make that good enough, at least for right now. Like, you have to make it good enough for you. So have those core beliefs, whichever ones that you can actually believe in, have those in your back pocket to pull from, especially when things don't seem like they're going right, especially when you've been trying something for so long and it's still not working. Like, you have to be able to use your perception as a superpower. Like, how can I perceive the situation completely different so that it serves me? And that's something that I know that I've gotten really, really good at. And that's half of the reason why I know that things change for me or have changed for me, and it's continuing to change for me, is because I always choose the perspective that serves me. I've said this before, but like, I never sit and spend time thinking about how far I am from $1 million. I never sit and spend time thinking about how much more work I have to put in, because those thoughts don't serve me. They're not bringing me any closer to my goal. They're not making me feel any richer. Like, those thoughts do not serve me. What serves me is thinking about, what do I need to do today to create the money that I'm wanting to make tomorrow? Or what do I need to think today? What do I need to believe today? What do I need to feel today? Like, just take it one day at a time. You do not have to project yourself so far in the future that things just start to feel impossible, starts to feel far away, starts to feel like it's not going fast enough. And this is actually something I've been dealing with this week. Like, I've been feeling like I'm rushing myself. And I have to ask myself, like, what am I rushing towards? And if I'm being honest, it's because I want my life to look a certain way and I want it to look that way now. And it's not because I care about what other people think, it's just because I'm ready to get there. Like, I'm sure you can relate. Like, sometimes you're just ready to get there. And I have to remind myself that that is not the point, because once you get there, wherever there is, you're going to want more. It's not going to be enough. Like, you hit six figures, you're going to be ready to hit a million. You hit a million, you're going to be ready to hit 2 million. That's just how we are. Like, we are creatures of creation. Like, we want to consistently create. And when we're not creating, that's when life feels unfulfilling. That's when you feel stuck. That's when you feel like nothing is going right. Like, we are creators by nature. We came from a creator, and our purpose here is to create, okay? Is to create things, try things over and over again, and to just be in it for that. Not for the thing that you get, but for the experience that you get. Like, that's what you're here for. So focus on those beliefs. And in order to focus on those beliefs, you have to focus on your thoughts. You have to be intentional about what you're thinking every day. Like, even if you're joking about things that, like, if you make jokes about your body, if you make jokes about your financial situation, if you make jokes about anything that is perceived as negative in your life, or anything that you don't like, your mind and body does not know what a joke is. So as many times as you say, I'm broke, I'm broke, I'm broke, your subconscious is gonna start to believe that. Like, if you keep thinking that, you keep joking about it, that's just who you're gonna be. You're just gonna be a person that's broke. And whether you intend to or not, you always take actions that result in you being broke. Whether it's now, whether it's a bad investment, whether it's you just end up in situations where you have to spend more money than you thought, like, you will always attract those situations if that's the beliefs that you consistently have. And we can honestly get into the vibration of your thoughts and your feelings and emotions, because quantum physics has already proven that what you think, what you believe, and what you feel carries a frequency, and that frequency of those things is going to attract the same things out in the world. So when you, again, like, the best example of this is always like poverty. When you have a poverty mindset, when you're consistently thinking thoughts of lack and not having enough, that's what you attract, because that's what you are on the frequency of. It's like as if you are setting your radio station to 102.3. That's all you're going to hear. You're not going to hear anything else. If you're dialed into the problems, all you're going to get is problems. So you have to change your like, you have to change your station, turn up the dial, and change it to abundance, change it to hope, change it to faith. Like, you have to dial into these things in order for you to have access to them, okay? It's not, this isn't something that's like spiritual, it's not religious, it's scientific. It's just how the world works. It's just what is. You are literally attracting every day by the things that you think. Here is where I would start. I would first look at my life and write down all the things about your life that you love, all the things about your life that you would like to change and you don't really like. Write those things down. I would try to do at least 5 to 10 for each thing. Once you have those things down, that list is basically telling you where your thoughts are most of the time. If you wrote down things like, I love that I have family around all the time, I love that I have a car, I love that I have a house, like, if you wrote those things down, then most likely your thoughts when it comes to those things are in alignment, because you're in a good place and they feel good. Like, your feelings will always tell you which direction you're headed in. Now, if you go to the other list, the list of things that you perceive to be negative or that you want to change about your life, most likely you will see that the thoughts that you have are the reason why these things exist. Is because you actually have thoughts that are keeping these things relevant in your life. So all you have to do is, after you have this list and you see how, I can obviously see how my thoughts have created this and created this, like, once you see that, then you can take those thoughts and start to turn them around in a way that benefits you. So if one of the things you want to change is your job, you can start to write down all positive things like, I love my job. I have a career where I do this and that. Like, start to script the thing that you actually want, and then just start to think about it every day. Every time you think about hating your job, change that thought with a thought that serves you. Like, actually, this job is paying for my rent, it's paying for my food, it's supporting me. This job is okay for now. Like, you just have to find the next best thought. Like I said, you don't have to skip from I hate it to I love it. You just have to get from I hate it to I can deal with it, to it's okay, to it's gonna be all right, to I know I can do better. Like, take it in steps and be committed to being patient with yourself no matter how long it takes, because at the end of the day, if you want to change, you have to be willing to put in that time. It could be a day, it could be a week, it could be a year. But taking the time to change is going to be so much more worth it than just spending time staying where you are and not trying. Like, do not spend time even thinking about how long it's going to take, because even that is a waste of time. Just dive right into what it is that you want and consistently train your mind to point in that direction, okay? Because when things go wrong, if you're someone who automatically like gets flustered and like frustrated and stressed and worried, like that means you need to train your mind to start looking for solutions when things go wrong. You need to switch your perspective to start seeing the lessons in situations. And like I said, this is something that comes with consistency, but you can train yourself to think this way. You can train yourself so that when shit hits the fan, you're not panicking. The first thing that you do is you try to figure out, well, what went wrong and what could I have done better? So this is a, like I said, patience, it's a work in progress, but you can do it if you are committed to taking the time to do it. So that is where you can start if you want to change your reality. Start by changing your thoughts that you think most often. And like I said, your environment, your current reality is a great reflection of everything that is existing within you, because all that has to change for everything to change is you. Like that's what happened to me. All that changed was me, and because I changed my dial, I tuned into a whole different frequency. My reality automatically had to change to upgrade to that. So no, I don't have all the money that I want. I don't have the big house that I want. I don't have my dream car yet. But everything that I do have, I love, and I've manifested. I've manifested a great job. I've manifested a great relationship. I've manifested amazing friends. These things I've manifested, and like I said, you're always going to want more. So at one point where I was, I didn't want it. And this is what I wanted. And now that I'm here, I want something better. So you're always gonna want something more, which is why it's so important to be like, just be okay with the present as much as you can. And whatever you're not okay with, direct your thoughts to think of what you do want. Like, do not dwell on what you don't want. Dwell on what you do want. Dwell on it so much that it starts to feel real within you. Dwell on it so much that you know that it's inevitable, that it's going to happen. And I promise you, your reality, like things will start happening. The universe will move mountains to make sure that you have that thing, because your body, your mind, your soul does not know the difference between what you're imagining and what you're actually experiencing. So when you consistently just imagine the best case scenario, eventually your mind and your body is going to take you there, and the universe is going to change everything to reflect that. The world is just a mirror of who you are, who you're being, what you're thinking, and what you are believing. Okay? That is it for today's video. I hoped you bloomed, because I know I did. And make sure you guys like, subscribe, and comment. Tell me how your thoughts are creating your reality, and I'll see you guys on the next video.